Hello and welcome back to my Let's Play of Knights of the Republic 2. My name is Phil. And in this episode we are going to actually get into some gameplay proper, as opposed to spending 30 minutes character creation, introduction, and opening title crawls. So, again, welcome back. Thanks for coming back if you're watching. If it's not blatantly obvious, I am pretty new at this whole Let's Play recording YouTube thing, so I apologize for any roughness, for anything like that, though I am, at this point, the definition of amateur and beginner. But let's not let that get in the way of our enjoyment saving Galaxy and such. So, alright. So last episode we created our character, Jexter Dexter, on his quest to establish in some sort of 50s style cafe diner somewhere in the galaxy. We created our character, allocated all our points, blah 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 blah, picked a face, and got started. And now we are T3 and 4, the astromech droid from the last game, aboard the Ebon Hawk, the ship from the last game.
You have new quests.
We have new quests.
Open the game menu.
So we just started. This is the prologue, or the actual tutorial section of the game, which will introduce us to a bunch of different mechanics, things we'll use in the main game as we go on. So as you can see, from the opening title crawl, we were attacked by the Sith. We don't really know what's going on. There was a great Jedi Civil War that ravaged the Republic, left it in shambles, trying to rebuild. They won the war. The Sith supposedly went away, but we were just attacked, kind of that post-war Reconstruction era. And now we are aboard the Ebon Hawk, which is all busted up, and we're floating towards Paragus, which has an asteroid around it, which was formed when the planet exploded. Thus is why the inside of the planet's core, is showing. I wouldn't recommend driving a boat through that planet's core on Paragus. So, first quest, save the Ebon Hawk. Heavily damaged adrift, find the hyperdrive, fix it to restore primary power. You can dock the Paragus mining station for repairs. Heal Jexter Dexter. Medbay critical condition, you can use the med pack. So first we have to find a medbay, we have to find a med pack, we have to heal ourselves. And to do that we need to get through the main hold door, which is...
Beyond this door is the main hold of the Ebon Hawk. This door appears to be locked down due to a hull breach. See if there is an emergency override somewhere in the communications room behind you.
So let's do that. We also hear an ominous banging sound, a rap-tap-tapping on the door.
This room contains a plasma cylinder and the communications console. To target one of these objects, move close to it, left-click on it, or press Q or E.
So this will allow us to cycle through anything in the room, enemies, interactable objects, so forth. So comm console, this is your computer interface. Click left mouse when cool. So we see comm console damaged, minimal functionality, primary functions offline, not good. Emergency console, you need a computer spike. Number of computer spikes you have listed in the bottom window of the screen, right here. Use your mouse or arrow keys to highlight one of the responses below, and then or press 1, 2 on the keyboard. Cool. So I need computer. This means we're using our computer skill with the brackets. Slice the system requires 1 spike. So we have a computer skill of 10, repair of 10. Repair parts 0, computer spikes 0. So some computer interfaces will allow you to use your computer skill or your repair skill, and then repair parts, computer spikes are the equivalent resources you might need. The higher your skill, the less spikes and repair parts typically you would need. So this says use your computer skill, slice the system, you need 1 spike. So we have 0 spikes, which means our only option is to log out. Plasteel cylinder. Plastic steel, it's the future, sorta. And oh look, we find 1 computer spike. Extremely convenient.
Some of which will be locked. The computer spike you just picked up can be used at computer terminals to access functions such as opening doors.
Opening a door is exactly what we need to do here. So we'll go back to the comm console. Slice the system, 1 spike. I got 1 spike. Success, you slice into the cockpit computer, bypassing the main console function. So we will open the main container door. Blue screen also indicates security camera. Alright, so we lost the island. That was the computer spike. It's no longer in our inventory. We can now get into the main hold. So again, using the Q and E buttons, we can look around at the various objects. It's kind of helpful if you have a bunch of containers and you want to see what's empty, what you can still interact with. I just cycle that Q and E until everything is gone through. So we'll just explore the ship. You can see in our mini map here. Green lines indicate doors that lead to rooms that are still in the same area. Blue lines indicate you'll be transitioning to a different area, which usually requires a loading screen. Which, when I played on the original Xbox, it took about 5 to 10 minutes to load additional areas, which made backtracking a pain in the rear. The main with this game was fun for me to get. Blast door. It's locked. Open the blast doors. Open the blast doors. Okay, so we'll main hold various doors, and we can get around that one. There's a body there that's nice. Broken droid. Another blast door. Magnetically sealed. Cannot be opened. Another blast door. You can hear banging from the inside of this door. It's not ominous at all. But it is sealed shut and cannot be opened from the outside. So some doors will say it's locked, which means there's typically a way to open it, either security checking it right there, finding a computer console, bashing a computer console. Other things, if it says impossible or magnetically sealed, that typically means you just cannot open it. Either it can be open, it's just functionally a wall, or perhaps there's something, a quest activity, item that you need to accomplish or something. Okay, so we have security console, we got a low security door, broken droid, foot locker, and then over here we got that body and another broken droid. So we'll start with the security console. Security console, condition critical, cascade failure imminent, computer slices system requires 2 spikes. We have none, so we'll log out. Foot locker, this means it's locked. So you can either use your security skill to try to open it, or if your security skill is too low, you can bash it. However, bashing, while it will open it eventually, it could break the item inside. You won't know what the item is, it will just be a broken item. So impossible, too low. So for this is a tutorial section saying this is how you bash. Essentially you'll enter combat, and then once it gets all the way down, it'll open. Sometimes you gotta sit there and wait a while. So we got a broken item, 2 computer spikes, which fortunately is exactly what we needed to get into the security console. Broken droid, these are just kind of loot chests basically. Have parts. Sometimes you'll have like special items or quest items. Blocker key from the body. Hopefully that wasn't the locker we just bashed. Appears to be dead. Key card, open locker. I'm sure she won't be relevant to the plot later. And more parts from that broken droid. See, low security drawer. Let's see. So we can get around to the other side of the store by going through the hallway. So this is most likely here to show us that this is how security system skill check works, non-bashing fashion. So yeah, there you go. Some doors you can you either need a plasma torch or a lightsaber, and with those items equipped, you'll be able to bash the door open. Other times you'll just have to do it. Oh my gosh, it's Dexter.
You are in critical condition.
This isn't my 50s style cafe. Okay, so this was a quest to stabilize us. If you don't do this, you're not gonna die. It'll be a pretty short game. That's what a container looks like, and when you don't have to bash it open. 3 med packs, awesome.
You have found med packs. stabilize the condition of the human lying on the bed.
Notice how it says the human, not Jexter Dexter, because they don't know how to pronounce their name in this game.
The med pack can stabilize your condition.
Treat injury, use med pack on Jexter.
Success.
Hey,
You are
we're stabilized, we won't
To
die.
recover fully, you will require
This game will in
medical
fact
facilities at
continue
the
to happen.
Galapagos mining station, but you are not in any danger of dying from your wounds right now.
Journal entry added because we did a quest, got experience points, item lost, that was the med pack. Typically, that's not how you administer med packs. It's down here. We're a droid, we can't use med packs because we're a droid, but if we were a human character, it could be down here. And you just click it and you're just slam that needle in your lung.
The outer hull of the Ebon Hawk, where you will find many parts and
Cool, so we'll have to go up there, lift controls, we're a droid, we can go out into the vacuum of space, no problem. Engine room door.
engine room. This door is damaged and cannot be opened with your security skill or by bashing it. You will have to find and use an explosive trap to open this door.
Right, so go outside. So some doors and containers, if you can't bash it, you can't security check it, you'll have to blow it open with an explosive, like a mine, something to that effect. Typically, the door will tell you it needs to be explosive. I don't remember if there's any in the game. There are some containers where the top of it up here will be sparking. That means you have to use an explosive. High security. Skill 2 low. This means that no matter how many times we try, it will not open. But we can use a security tunneler to temporarily boost our security. So there you go. 3 security tunnelers.
If you encounter a difficult lock on a container or door,
So now that we have a security tunneler, we can cycle through so you can see security check or security tunneler. Click it and it automatically applies it to your character and then runs the skill check. I don't know if the security tunneler will automatically guarantee it open as long as it boosts your security enough to meet the skill check requirement, or if it runs a dice roll. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I last played this game, but I don't remember it ever failing if that security tunneler boosted it to meet the skill check. So we got a computer spike, 2 components, and then some parts. 1 parts, singular plural. Repair. Well, let's just check some item descriptions. By the way, so droid shock arm is that weapon we currently have equipped. The good thing about this is it's like a T3 and 4 unique weapon, but its uses are unlimited. He has a blaster kind of. Well, not currently, but it would be equipped. But you could use that to shoot. And then a droid shock arm would appear in the combat screen as something we could use. If it's something like a ice gun or freeze ray or anything else, they typically have limited amount of uses in that slot. But this shock arm is special in that it is unlimited. Medpack, essential equipment, treated wounds. They cannot be used by droids. Basic medpacks, 10 vitality plus wisdom modifier plus user skill and treat injury. One use item improves the user ability to bypass security measures, creating electronic interference and locking mechanisms of doors and containers. This item can only be used if you possess the security skill. So my player character currently has 1 in security, so I can use it. Otherwise, it just wouldn't even be an option. But it sounds like it's not running a dice roll there, so maybe it works all the time. Allows users to slice computer programs, assaulting systems with garbage data to overwhelm security measures. They're one-time use only. High computer skill reduces the number of spikes required for any given task. Parts. Universally adaptable parts. Those are always handy. Designed for characters using repair skill on machines. Each pack is a one-use item. High repair skill reduces the number of parts given for a task. Broken item we got from bashing. Might have been once uses components or chemicals, but now is almost worthless. You can turn broken items into components, like maybe 1 or 2 at a workbench. So it's not completely useless, but it does reduce the value of the item that was there. And then locker key, which we picked up the dead woman that won't come back to play a role later in the game, is used to open a locker container in a storage room. Fortunately, we are in the storage room. So metal box combat training. Opening this will activate some remotes I believe these might be the same remotes that Obi-Wan used to train Luke with the lightsaber.
Sensor droids
And A New Hope.
from this box when you opened it. These droids will make for excellent target practice. Use the weapon from this container to attack the droids. You can equip a weapon from the equip screen. To open the equip screen, click on the blaster.
So that's what she's talking about. And this is our weapon slot. So we'll click on the field survival pistol. This would be your offhand slot. And then this is your second weapons, so you can have 2 weapons equipped, only one out at a time, and you can switch between the 2. You can also do this outside the menu. So if I click this button down here, he'll pull out his gun and then automatically target closest enemy. When you target an enemy, the game automatically pauses. It's an option you can turn on and off in the menu. I usually leave it on just so I can kind of get my bearings whenever combat starts. So 3 slots. This will be your basic attack functions. If you have any attack feats like rapid fire or the melee ones, they'll have an arrow here you can select. Here we can only attack. So go ahead and do that. And this will begin to combat rolls. Build up the queue, or you can try to cancel combat and run away if you want to. So you can select attack, queue up, basic attack, rapid fire, sniper shot, critical strike, flurry if you're using melee. Here is your special item if equipped, and then here would be grenades if we had any. So we'll go ahead and start with an attack. Hit space to unpause the game. Got it. And also, clicking on it automatically puts an attack in the queue. Otherwise, you'd have to cycle through. We'll go ahead and try out the shock arm just to see what that's like, and then blow this other remote apart. And then you can do it again by selecting that container, though you don't gain any experience that I'm aware of. I don't think you can actually level up in the prologue. If you gain experience in the prologue, I'm not actually 100% sure if it carries over to the main game or not, since you can skip the prologue. But you cannot actually level up here, to my knowledge.
Influence how other characters react to you, so choose carefully. Furthermore, certain skills, powers, and attributes may modify what choices you have, or how successful you are with those choices.
Alright, so we met our first possible companion. You can miss this guy. Again, this is just introducing more mechanics. So 3CFD. How you doing?
Is malfunctioning. You can fix him by using a part. If you repair 3CFD.
So we will repair. This is typically how you use skill checks and parts, computer spikes, or whatever. Obviously, you can only use parts on mechanical units like droids. This is how you would use them in a dialogue option. So we will repair. You can, if you hit leave, you can come back and redo this. But
Success. You have fixed 3CFD. Now you can invite him to join you.
did you get all that? Droid conversations in this are typically based on you as the player. Kind of got to figure it out from context. So your other companions in your player character will, of course, know what he's talking about usually. So I guess he added a little inflection at the end of that tweet as a, make it a question. So yes, I would love it if you would join me. Together we will fix the Ebon Hawk and save everyone. Pretty excited about that. Follow me if you wish, but if you slow me down, I'll jettison you. No, I don't want you to join me. These are kind of, normally in conversations, these might affect the, influence or dark side points or light side points. You could get, for the prologue, it doesn't really matter, because if you click this, you're not going to hurt his feelings. He's a droid. Some droids can have hurt feelings in this game. But he'll still follow you around. This is just kind of you as a player can help you roleplay a little bit. So, since we are going light side and we're just excited to have everyone along for the ride, let's save everyone.
You chose a response that 3CFD likes. If you
So I guess he does have feelings.
It may open up new dialogue options when you talk to him again.
Journal entry added, got some experience points for fixing him, and then lost an item for the repair part.
3CFD is now a member of your party. To change which party member you control, Click on their portrait.
So as we gain companions, they'll appear over here.
If you have more companions, you can add and remove party members.
Yeah, I got
from the party.
it. So if you can click on it, you can switch between. You know this button here, which toggles solo mode on, which means if we leave now, he won't follow, or if we turn it off, then he will come and join us. Otherwise, he'll just follow us around.
This is the cargo hold.
All right. So before we leave, let's get this locker, which I believe is what we had the access card from the old woman. So it would open regardless, and then we get a computer spike, droid impact armor Mark 1, and some more parts.
Use the key card you found to open the locker.
Yes.
The impact armor from this locker.
So we got some armor, which we can equip here. As you can see, gives applies a passive defense bonus of 3, designed to help some wear and tear droids can take an active workplace and save the chassis from major damage. A little more than a dust cover for the internal components of droids Mark 1 is still considerable improvement over nothing. So we'll go ahead and equip that. Here, as we talked about, is the special weapon. Here is where you would put your shields. Typically limited time use only. This would be a second special weapon. So if we were to put none here, then we could equip it over here. For droids, it does not matter what side it's on. This is just 2 different slots, basically. And then you can put 2 different types of chips up here, which could apply bonuses for normal characters. This is where you could be implants, and then like visors we'll talk about later, and then other droid equipment here. Cool, so we're armored. So we saw this is a blast door, cannot be opened. Alright, so what we're trying to do is fixing the engine room door. To do that, they said get an explosive, go outside. Again, we cross that blue line, so loading screen. Oh my gosh. This actually blew me away when I was, I think, 12 or 13 when I first played this game. Obviously, it's looking a little dated by today's standards, but back in 2004, it was pretty cool. So we're now obviously on the outside of the Ebon Hawk. This is not a place you can, typically we're not on the Ebon Hawk as it flies around space. It just takes us from location to location. Messed up planet, wonder what happened there. Star map, it's pretty cool, and then all the asteroids. So the Ebon Hawk itself, we're here to get some explosives, so we'll just drive around and see if we can find anything. Open hatch. It's like, let's investigate. Oh, we got more parts. It's not an actual hatch you can go in and out of. Open hatch. Engine port, more parts. Open hatch, more parts. Exposed wiring. This is interesting.
Control the door to the starboard dormitory. The door is current.
Let's see, override door. Starboard dormitory. Yeah, let's do it.
The door is opened. You can now act.
Awesome. And let's try to get up this ramp. Go to the other side, and it'll take us back down.
This is the bubbles ahead indicate mines that you've detected automatically with your awareness skill. Some mines require higher awareness to detect. Approach mines carefully. They will blow up and damage you if you get too close. You can use your demolition skill to either disable or recover these mines. Recovering mines requires a higher demolition skill than disabling them, but you get to keep the mine, which you can then use to set as a trap for enemies or break down into components at a workbench.
Of course, I do try to recover mines, so you gotta disable and recover. I rarely put mines down in like a combat fashion, just because it takes a lot of time to like set them and then try to lure enemies to a trap. There are periods where it can be helpful, but I do mostly try to recover them just so I can have things to sell or break down into components. And, you know, collect things. It's fun. Alright, so we got a minor frag mine and some parts from this proton missile.
Device in this missile to blow open the engine room door inside the Ebon Hawk. This will give you access to.
Alright, so we are now able to access the hyperdrive room. So that's what we needed the explosive for. And I believe we got everything on the outside of the Ebon Hawk. So we'll go back inside.
You can use this.
Yes, please go inside. Those loading screens have little, tidbits of information down here, typically about the bigger picture, which is great on the Xbox when it takes 5 years to load, but on PC you gotta be quick to read it. So enter garage door.
Garage. To access the area beyond this door, you will have to use.
Alright, so this is our solo mode tutorial. So the garage has a big hole blown in it, which means you gotta use the airlock system to get through here to get to the garage. This is the garage, and the starboard dormitory is over here. So to do that, we'll hack the security console. So it requires 2, we have 4, so that's good. Security system for the port aft section of the ship, which includes engine room, utility lift, and a garage. Cool. Security cameras will allow us to. That's where we just were, in a garage. That's the garage itself. Engine room, so all busted up, and utility lift goes up and down. So now we can access security doors. We will close the outer one, which is not what we wanted to do at all. And then this mirrors a lot of the mechanics you'll see later in the game, as far as like using consoles to manipulate systems, open doors, view security cameras, set off traps for enemies. This is just a little familiarization. So, hole breach in the garage, blast doors locked down, low security door remote operation offline, engine room door inoperable, but the inner and outer garage doors are working. Cool. So I'm going to log out, engage solo mode, since I'll need someone to stay here and work the console. Not Han Solo mode, that would be kind of fun too. And then we'll be able to swap back to 3F CD, 3F DVD, I forget his name. And then close the outer garage door, so now T3 and 4 is inside the quote-unquote airlock. And then accidentally click the same button again. And then open the inner garage door, which will allow access to the garage proper. So I'll back to T3 and 4. So that would go back to the main hold. This is the garage. Busted ship, busted planet, as you can see. Blast door magnetically sealed. This is your exit ramp for your characters to enter and exit the Ebon Hawk when you're landed in a safe environment. Starboard dormitory. So you see a couple of footlockers here. So we got a flamethrower. Special weapon droids can use. Got it. And more repair parts. So if we wanted to equip it, we could, replace the shock arm, or we could replace it and have both equipped. So we'll head back to the garage. Sparking wires allow us to manipulate these doors, so we could close the inner one, open the outer one, and have 3F Blu-ray come in and join us in here, though we don't really need him to, so I'm not going to do that.
You can break down objects in your inventory, and because of the damage to the Ebon Hawk, use the workbench.
So workbench, limited functionality, aka tutorial. So you can learn about using the workbench, use the workbench. This option is always here, not just in the tutorial section, but we're just going to go ahead and use it. So parts. So these are all the things we can make. Other, different categories of upgrades and components you can make. Right now, others are only option. So everything requires components to build. Component costs 10, total component. This is how many we have. Sorry. What am I trying to say? This is how many we have in inventory. Total components. Something. Why am I? Anyway. Repair kit is what we want to make. Oh, I'm sorry. I was confused. This is how much components it costs to make this. This is how many we have, and then this is how many of this item we have in our inventory. So repair kit, which is what we want to make for the purposes of this tutorial, costs 1. We have 2 components, and we have 0 repair kit. So we'll hit create, and now we have 1. And then you can view your breakdown items. So this is everything that we have, and then we'd be able to break down, say, this mine or frag mine. Obviously, I don't want to break them down all down because we need 1 to get into the hyperdrive room or the engine room for the layperson. So if we were to break this down, we would get 2 components and then only have 2 mines left. But we don't need to do that now. Cool. Got experience. You're doing something new. And we got a repair kit. This is where the repair kit is. So you click on the repair kit, and then you have to click on the party member you want to use it on. And then bam. Back to normal functionality. That can be a little annoying to click over here and click here in like a combat situation. It's not too bad, but it's one of those little things. So now we will access stores, close the inner garage door, so the dead woman and ourselves don't get sucked out into the vacuum of space or have the ship break apart in a violent decompression. Would be bad. Alright, so we got T3 and 4. Go ahead and turn off solo mode, so 3CFD, and that's what it was, will join us. Alright, so we couldn't open it, we can't security it, we can't bash it, we can mine it. So we'll go ahead and click mine. So mine's here, this is for the door, this is if we wanted to place the mine on the ground for an enemy. So go ahead and hit that, back away, and then bam, it explodes and the door opens.
This is the engine room.
Okay, so port engine,
The port engine
shut down but intact, that's good. Starboard engine,
The starboard engine is
badly damaged, got it. And then the hyperdrive, this is what we're here to
The
fix.
hyperdrive is suffering badly. You won't be able to make the jump to light speed until it is fully repaired, and you do not have the needed equipment here on the Ebon Hawk. However, you should be able to rig the hyperdrive to restore primary power and bring the port engine online. This will allow you to dock with the Paragus mining station for full repairs.
Alright, so 5 parts needed. Do we have 5 parts? Yes, we do.
Success. The hyperdrive is online. Primary power is restored. Only one step remains. Return to the galaxy map in the cockpit and travel to Paragus.
Alright, so we have completed everything we need to do to finish the prologue. Now we're just going to accomplish the intergalactic travel section. It's kind of like how to fly your ship from one location to the other, which we will do next time since we're at a little over 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you join me next time. Next video we will fly the ship to Paragus, land, and then start the story, or rather the game proper itself, and actually take control of our player character, and then maybe learn what exactly is going on. See you next time.